All right, so this is the second principle for a Christ-centered marriage.
Yes.
And we're doing 5 principles for a Christ-centered marriage. And we've already done number 1.
Right.
And number 1 was choose love. And we put intention behind that, choose and love, because love is a choice. It's not a feeling. So we're going to dive into principle number 2 now. And principle number 2 is pick your battles. Mm-hmm. And again, we're going to start being grounded in Scripture here. So let's dive right in again.
All right, so this Scripture is from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And it says, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places."
Yeah, and I think you have a pretty powerful story here about how this impacted you. And I think I probably sort of stole this from our pastor at our church, because we heard a sermon about this, that it's something he used personally in his own marriage. And I think then I started picking that up. But how did it make you feel when I started using this?
Right. So before I go into that, the Scripture is saying, our fight isn't against each other. Our fight is against these evil rulers and principalities. Our fight is against the devil. And so, like Mark said, our pastor had told this story about it once, and Mark started using this, but he would just say, "I'm on your side." And we would be arguing about who knows what. I don't even know now what it was. Probably something silly, but at the time it was, super important.
It felt important.
It felt important. And he would just say, "Fallon, I'm on your side." And when he said that, just the barrier that broke down in me was amazing. I mean, it softened my heart. It was not the response I expected when I'm lashing out at him and angry at him, probably unrightfully so. And he says, "Fallon, I'm on your side." And it almost brings me to tears just talking about it here too. It was just so loving and so true. And because, as we talked about in the first section of this series, marriage is an example of how Christ loves the church. And so you better believe that Satan is going to attack this from all angles, and he's going to try to tear us down in any way he can. And so if he can pit us against each other, I mean, he's loving it. He's cheering and clapping and just on cloud 9. But I think that's a good reminder. Pick your battles. Your battle is not against each other. It's against the evil one. And you guys are a team. Not you and the evil one. You and your spouse are a team. You're on each other's side.
But I'll tell you, I think you're right that it does have that tendency to break down barriers, but it's not always easy, though. I mean, it's not easy to say it, and it's not easy to receive it.
Right. Yes. First. Yeah. Because I just wanted. Sometimes when he said it, the first few times, yes, it was unexpected, but it was almost unexpected in a bad way. Like, you're supposed to be mad too. Like, I want to fight and argue and be mad. You're right.
And I don't want to say it because I know it's going to diffuse the situation, and I want to win the argument. But we're not fighting against each other, and it's such a critical principle. So. We already talked about one scripture. How about we do another one?
Okay. This is also from Ephesians. This is chapter 4, verses 26 and 27. And it says, "And don't sin by letting anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry, for anger gives a foothold to the devil."
I have to laugh at this one because we're going to go into an application here, but I can vividly remember many of nights trying to hold this principle strong and this scripture strong, and talk about things not being easy. But so we would have oftentimes where fighting against each other again, or at least we thought so, and they felt important at the time, but I can't repeat any of them what they are because I don't know what they were.
I know.
But we tried to say, let's not let the sun go down on our anger, and we would be laying in bed near each other and trying to figure out how to talk our way out of not being angry anymore, falling asleep, and then getting mad at each other because, did you fall asleep? No. And then I have to get up early in the morning. But I'll tell you, I was always happy we did that.
Yeah.
When we, in the morning, you're not always happy that you're going through that at the time, but in the morning, I remember it. Do you remember those?
I do, yes. And again, like you said, I don't even remember what it was about. Silly.
Yeah. So application is practice this. So don't let the sun go down. So probably really two applications here. One is when you're in a fight, remember this. Pick your battles and try to use those words sincerely. Honey, I'm on your side. And you can even, use the scripture, but don't use the scripture in an antagonistic way to try to patronize the other person.
Right.
But try to say, honey, remember this scripture, and I'm trying to remember it too. So use that one. And then the other one is don't let the sun go down. And practice this. It's tough. It's hard.
For sure.
But it makes you have to talk it out. It makes you have to discuss what's going on. And I'll tell you, I'd say the last thing here, and it follows from this, which is talking about what's bothering you is absolutely critical. And you may have personality differences between you and your spouse that make it to where maybe you don't like to talk about things because you don't like the conflict. So you'd rather just go to sleep because time is going to take place and it's going to be sort of all better in the morning. But do not underestimate how you can be resentful over time. You may not. It may be just a little bit of resent that one time.
Yeah.
But a little bit of resent over and over and over again builds up big time over time. So practice these principles. Talk about what's bothering you. Pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
All right, so we're doing 5 principles for a Christ-centered marriage. This is 1 and 2. Wait, this is 2.
This was only 2, but one is...
Go back and find 1.
Yes.
1's out there. This is 2. We're not going to tell you what 3 is, but come back. You're going to find 3. And thanks for watching.
Yeah. See you later.